On my wonderful students. Today we are going to create a text-driven photograph or self-portrait. You've done several different things in Photoshop by this point, so I know you guys are starting to get a little bit more comfortable with it. I do want to stress that I'm going to not help you on this in class. You are going to be self-taught learners, which is wonderful. You're going to follow along with the video and not get lost, but there's several things that I want you to be considerate of as you're going through the film. Okay, so number one, you know that you should not have a lot of things running in your background, especially for this because there's a couple of steps in there and there's the possibility that you'll crash. The only thing that I have open is a video tutorial and a file that has the text that I'm going to actually use. I am going to keep open my Photoshop quick commands. This is something that I want you to take note of and keep on your desktop because I'm going to refer to these a lot in this video, and this will just remind you what keys you need to hit. So let's go ahead and begin. First thing I'm going to do is drag my photo into Photoshop. Let's go ahead and embed it. I have a photograph of Mr. Johnson. He's showing a lot of expression and aggression because it goes along with the text that is actually going to be embedded onto his photo. Okay, so the first thing, I have my photograph in here. I'm going to make my panel where I can see just a little bit larger so that I can actually adjust everything that I need to. And I want to make sure that I can still see my quick commands, all right, because I'm going to need to remember those, and so will you. So the first thing we're going to do is unlock our layer, and I'm going to select OK, and then we're going to delete the background, which is why I photographed you on a white background, so it's just really simple to delete and not complicated. So I'm going to use my quick selection tool, and I'm going to delete the white background. Go around Mr. Johnson and hit delete, or yourself in this case. So I have the background still selected. In order to get rid of that, I'm going to go up to select and deselect. So I have the background deselected. Okay. Following that, we're going to put ourselves on a black background. There are several ways to put yourself in a black background, but for our purposes, we're going to keep it really simple and go down here to the bottom right corner, select a new layer. And we're going to move this layer to the bottom, okay? It's very important that you move this layer to the bottom. I already have black selected, so I'm going to go up here to my paint bucket. If your paint bucket is not showing, it is underneath the gradient tool. So select your paint bucket, make sure you have the correct layer selected, and then just go and then click, and the whole background will be black, okay? Then I'm going to go back up to my cursor and select this layer. Now, in order to embed the text into the subject, I have to desaturate my photograph. So in order to do that, I'm on the correct layer, and you see desaturate is Command-Shift-U. So I'm going to hold Command-Shift-U at the same time, and you'll see that it's going to desaturate my photograph. It's going to take the color away and automatically make it into a gradient. Okay? The next thing that I need to do is I need to make a composite snapshot of my entire image. Not a screenshot, a composite snapshot, because I want it to hold everything that I have in there. I don't want anything pixelated. In order to do that, it's right here. You're going to select Command, Shift, Option, and E at the same time. So get your fingers ready. Command, Shift, Option, E at the same time, and you'll see the composite appear right here. I'll give you a moment to do that. Once you have your composite, you're going to go to File, Save As, and then right here, you're going to save your desktop image as DIC. We'll leave it as DIC. This is going to be our displacement. Okay, you can name it displacement if you want to, but I'm just going to put that. All right, and then I'm going to save it to my desktop, and I want to select OK. After that is there, I need to go in and I'm going to have to adjust my layers, my levels. And your level refers to the exposure quality, the darks and light. So I'm going to select Command, Option, U. Actually, that's pulling up saturation, so we're going to hit cancel. Command. I'm going to go this way and go to my levels. So your levels bar is going to come up. When I bring up my levels, right here, you're going to go to output, okay? And I'm going to drag my output down to anywhere between 110 and 120. Anywhere in there. I'm going to go ahead and select 113. Then I'm going to select OK. All right? And that's fine. I'm going to leave it just right there. The next step, remember I told you there's a lot of steps in going through this. So if you get stuck, you know, Ms. J talks fast sometimes. I want you to pause your film and go back so we can make sure that you don't get lost, okay? So I have my top layer selected. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my text tool. I'm going to select T, horizontal type, and I'm going to drag it across my entire picture. Okay, so now I know that I'm going to embed text in here. Before I embed text and change all of the information regarding the characters, the spacings, and the font, I have to go grab my text. So I'm going to go over here. I already have my text minimized, and I'm going to do this poem that Mr. Johnson is very familiar with and loves called Strange Fruit. I hit Command C, minimize it, and I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to go ahead and change my font now. Now, if you choose a font that is very elegant and flowery, it's going to give you some difficulty in trying to embed it into the photograph. So I would try to stay away from something really flowery or elegant. I'm going to go ahead and do marker felt. It's usually a pretty nice one. And I'm going to click sample. That's just a little mini crash, but I can go back to it. So I'll go back to my text. Drag that all the way through. It'll probably happen to you too. I'll go to marker felt. That's what we were on. So I'll go to my M's, find my marker felt. And it's on thin. This is perfect. I want it on smooth. My photograph, the color is white. Double click and then I'll hit Command V. All right, so here is my poem. What I don't want is any space in between, on the end or in between the stanzas. So I'm going to go in and backspace that all the way through, because remember, you want continuous words. So you're going to go through, it might take a moment, and you're going to backspace until you have that entire line filled with text. So I'll just keep backspacing all the way through, and then I'll end up going back and copying it. So at this moment, anybody ever seen Wheel of Fortune? Random thought, huh? Probably because it's going to take me a little second to do this. And to kill that dead noise, I'm going to sing for you. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm hitting Command V so I can constantly keep replacing it over and over again. So Command C, Command V. La 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 doom doom. All right, so good killer space, right? Yeah, your teacher's crazy. I know. I still love you. Anyway, I have my text there, right? And I'm going to select it one more time just to make sure that it's done. I have all my space filled out. The next thing you're going to do is we are going to finalize the text. So if you look up here on your toolbar, you're going to see a wonderful check mark over here. Select the check mark. Commit any current edits. So check. Okay? Let it go through there. So that's all complete and done. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to select my cursor, and I'm going to go to Filter, Distort, Displace. This type layer must be rasterized before proceeding. Its text will no longer be editable. Rasterize this type? Yes. Okay. Now, here's where it's important. So your horizontal scale and your vertical scale. This is going to refer to how much you want it to contort or conform to the contours of the face. If your number is really low, then it's not going to do it a lot. If you have anywhere from 20 to 30, you should see a huge difference in your shots. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 30. All right, I'm going to pick 30. This needs to stay to stretch to fit, and then repeat edges on pixels, and I'm going to select OK. And I'm going to select the displacement file that I originally had. All right, so I'm going to select open, and you're seeing it. Now you see it contour to the face. Look at that wonderful edge, okay? If I select undo, Command Z, I can increase it even more. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go to distort and displace, and I actually want it more than what it showed up. So I'm going to go ahead and be bold, and I'm going to take it up to 40. Displace. And let's see how crazy it gets now. Look at those. It really formed my contour. So it's not done at this stage. It's just showing me the layer, okay? I scroll over and look at my layers. Do you see how it's on normal layer? I'm going to change that to overlay. And now you can see that it's embedded, going through and echoing the contours of my face. All right? And you would think we're done, but we're going to take it a little bit more crazy. Oh, crazy, 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 crazy. Okay, great. All right, I can calm down now. So then I'm going to come over here, or we are going to come over here. And on your layers tab, look at the bottom. You have a link, FX. Then you have a square with a circle in it where you can add a layer mask. What we are going to do is add a new gradient, okay, which is right here. We're going to add a new adjustment layer. So you're going to select the adjustment layer and put gradient. When you select gradient, you can see that it's automatically going to give you that gradient. Now you can choose whichever style you want, linear, radial, reflected, diamond, anything that you want, okay? I very much like linear. I think it just reads really well in the composition, so I'm going to select OK. After I do that and I've selected it, that means that my gradient is there. But I don't want it to be a black and white gradient. I want to add some color to it. And I also want you to add color to it. So you're going to go over to your gradient tab or gradient layer that you just add, where it says layer thumbnail, double click it. And then I want you to double click inside your gradient box. Now these are presets automatically. I don't want you to use a preset. So you're going to choose the colors that you want. So this is the light area, which is the top of my composition right here. And then here is my bottom layer. I'm going to double click my bottom layer, and I'm going to do Mr. Johnson's favorite complementary colors. So I'm going to select blue, and then I'm going to come over here and select a really intense orange to give it a strong complement. All right, and then I'm going to select OK. Now, right now it's reading as normal, okay? I'm going to come down again and change that to an overlay so it picks up those tones automatically in there. All right. Now you can see over here, you see that gap? I would have had to make sure that that gap was filled in with text to make sure that it goes all the way to the form. Okay. So when this is all done, I am going to merge all these layers. Now I have my completed photograph, okay? And if I want, I can take it even a step further. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to just go crazy with all these different things that I can do to it. So I'm going to go to my paintbrush. I have a large size paintbrush, and I'm going to change my color. I want to give it something really crazy. I'm going to go to one of these electric teals, and I got to make sure that I have it selected. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Dang. All right, so I'm painting over top of that. All right, let's have fun and see some things that I can do. I'm going to go over here, change to my overlay again. Look at that. Look at how electric that is and how vibrant that is. And I actually very much love that. So I'm going to now go to File, Save As, and I'm going to put DJ, change it to a JPEG, and select Save. Save it to my desktop. And once I save it to my desktop, it's done. I'm going to select my desktop to make sure it's there before I quit Photoshop, and it's all, yes, I see it right down there. So then I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to quit all this madness. Select Don't Save because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to close this. I'm actually going to delete this because I only did it for you wonderful people whom I love so dearly. And so now I have my original photograph, And then I have the one that I have displaced my text and have it embedded around the contours. And this is what you will end up putting on your keynote. Got it, guys? Ohana, I love you dearly. Have fun.